Karen Loftus always does a great job representing the Star City, the weekend sports anchor for WDBJ7. Join me on the Sports Buffet podcast. She talks some high school football. Karen has covered 3 games this year. She talks about the Northside Vikings, the Pulaski County Cougars, the Floyd County Buffaloes, Christiansburg Blue Demons, Salem Spartans, and more. It's Karen Loftus on the Sports Buffet podcast. I remember when I was at the state high school basketball tournament back in March, and I saw Karen Loftus there. I was going to go up and say hi, but I got starstruck. Karen Loftus joins me on the Sports Buffet podcast now. WDBJ7 weekend sports anchor and many other hats that she wears. And one hat that you wear right now is a high school football aficionado, whether you want to be or not. Definitely a lot going on. You've seen Salem and Lord Botetourt early in the year, and Salem, from all the reports I've heard, looked like a buzzsaw. What impressed you about the Spartans?
Well, that was the first game I went to this past Friday, so I got to see the first half, and they definitely had some stuff out there in the first half that was pretty impressive. Chad Fisher really set the tone in that game. He had a pick 6 on the 3rd play of the game. I was really impressed with the way he played, and of course Matt Hill is back as the quarterback, and he had a phenomenal game. He looked great when I was there. I think he finished up like 130 yards, 12 for 17. I talked to him before the year started. He just said he was so confident coming back, and you could really tell on the field that he just looked like he's really settled into his role.
I mean this next comment with all due respect towards Salem, but when you see them play, can you tell that they know that they're good, if that makes sense?
They definitely seem like they played with confidence, and the stadium was packed, and I think that obviously helps when you're playing on your home field. It's your season opener, and you had a pretty good track record against the team that you're playing. In that case, LD. They definitely came out there and looked like they had the confidence to win that game, and obviously they did.
Now, another River Ridge team that was in action, I believe, that you saw on Friday night, if I'm not mistaken, was the Cougars of Pulaski County, correct?
Yes, that is correct. They're at Northside.
Talk about Pulaski. Obviously, last year, not a great year, but this year, fortunes have turned early. And, Northside, who had such a long winning streak, now is 2 down in the loss column in regular season games.
I was pretty impressed with Pulaski. I don't think I got to any of their games last season, so I don't really know what to compare it to from last year. But they looked really good. I got there for the second half of this game. They were up 14-0. They stalled a little bit in the second half. But, just to be able to pull out that win in overtime, they looked like they were executing very well. Granted, Northside was making some errors late that sort of, left the door open for Pulaski. But they seem like they're going to be a contender. They seem like they got things together this year.
And, I don't remember the exact record last year, but they didn't win a lot of games, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know much about them either. But to me, when you lose a lot the previous season, it's got to be a concern about how you're going to bounce back. But Todd Jones' squad off to a 2-0 start, and hey, beating Northside is not like beating a Pee Wee team. Northside's still a very good club.
Right, yeah, they absolutely are, and 0-2. There's still a bunch of games left. It's not like their season's a bust already.
Now I know game week 1, you got the spotlight game of the week, which I believe was Floyd County and Christiansburg, if memory serves me.
Correct. That is correct.
Talk about the Blue Demons that night.
They looked really good. Joey Augustine is just going to be a phenomenal player for them. He stepped up when he needed to. He made the big plays, and they just have such a good feeder program, good tradition there. And even though they lost a ton of players, I think it was like 20 seniors, they just know what is expected of them, and they just go out there and execute.
Now, they had a lot of football kids who played basketball last year, and obviously we both saw them up in Richmond. And to me, yep, Christiansburg exudes confidence. It seems like they think they can win no matter what the situation is or no matter what. Do the Blue Demons still look like that?
They do, and that's what I was mentioning about, the feeder programs they have. We saw with the basketball team, the football team last year, and even their wrestling. I just think it's a community where, sports is really important, and they have very good feeder programs for their sports from what I've seen, and that's really what builds the high school programs. When you get kids into a system that are all buying into the same things, that by the time they get to high school, they know what's up.
Based on what you saw from Floyd County that night, if you're a Buffaloes fan, do you still have optimism for the rest of the season?
I think so, because they were up against a tough team in Christiansburg, and they had one guy who was just all over the field. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he just took the team on their back, and, I think they'll be looking to him a lot this season.
In little single tiny A Floyd County, I say that with all due respect, playing a big AA Christiansburg, I think any time that you can hang with the Blue Demons, no matter what classification you are, you got to take more good than bad.
Right, because, in Christiansburg, they didn't blow them out. It was back and forth, and, they were a fast team, too. Buffalo's were a pretty fast team.